Greetings, dear listeners. How many of you are afraid of clowns? If not, then the stories I've prepared for you today will terrify you. Enjoy the show. It was the last night of the county fair. My wife, Lisa, was tired and took our son home early. I stayed behind with my buddy, Dave. We wanted one last beer and to walk through the quieting midway. The place was emptying out. Most of the rides were dark. You could hear the generators rattling. The only real light came from the food trailers, their neon signs buzzing. That's when I saw the clown booth. It was one of those old-timey photo places, but all the props were clown stuff. Big floppy shoes, rainbow wigs, that kind of thing. The sign above it was cracked and half the bulbs were out. It just said, "Smile Forever." The guy running it was just sitting on a stool, wearing a full clown getup, not the happy kind. His makeup was faded and smudged, like he'd been wearing it for days. He had this small, tight smile painted on. He wasn't trying to get customers. He was just staring at nothing. Dave nudged me. "Creepy, let's get out of here." I was about to agree when the clown's head turned. Not to look at us. He was looking past us, at a family packing up their stroller about 50 yards away, a little girl in a pink jacket. He watched them like a hawk. Then he stood up, slow, and went inside the back of his trailer, through a little curtain. Something felt wrong, really wrong. "Hey, wait here," I said to Dave. "I'm not waiting by the creepy clown booth, man. Just for a second, I'm gonna check something." I walked over to the booth. The front counter had a sample photo in a plastic frame. It showed a family of 4, all dressed as clowns, smiling. But the photo was old, faded to a weird yellow color. I looked closer. The people in the photo, I recognized the little girl. She was in a missing persons poster from about 3 years ago, from a fair over in the next state. I remembered it on the local news. My blood went cold. I glanced at the curtain. I heard a soft thump from inside the trailer, like a heavy door closing. I didn't think, I just moved. I went around the side of the trailer into the dark space between it and the game booth next door. There was a back door. It was just closing, not quite shut. A sliver of light came from inside. I pushed the door open a little more. It was a small dark room, red light, the smell of chemicals, and photos. Hundreds of them pinned on strings that crisscrossed the tiny room. They weren't old-timey photos. They were just regular pictures. Kids eating cotton candy, teenagers on the Ferris wheel, families, all taken from a distance, like he was hiding and watching. Then I saw the newest ones, still wet, hanging over a tray. The little girl in the pink jacket, her mom, her dad, walking through the fairgrounds earlier that night. I heard footsteps on the metal stairs inside the trailer, coming down toward the dark room. I backed out, fast, and let the door shut. I ran back to Dave. "We need to find security, now," I said, my voice shaky. We found a security guard near the main gate, an older guy named Roy. I was talking fast, pointing toward the booth, telling him about the photos. He listened, his face getting serious. He called it in on his radio. We all went back. The booth was dark. The clown was gone. Roy tried the front door, locked. He shined his flashlight through the glass. The stool was knocked over. The sample photo was gone. "He must have run," Dave said. Roy went to check the back. Dave and I waited out front. That's when I saw it, tucked under the corner of the counter. A single Polaroid, fresh. I picked it up. It was a picture of me and Dave from maybe 10 minutes ago. We were standing by the beer tent laughing. He must have been watching us all along. On the white border at the bottom, in smudged red grease paint, it said, "You shouldn't have looked." A loud bang made us both jump. It came from inside the trailer. Then Roy's voice shouting, "Hey, stop!" There was a crash of glass, and then the sound of running feet fading into the dark behind the fairgrounds. Roy came out the front door a minute later, breathing hard. He'd broken the glass to get in. "You were right. There's a room in there. It's not for photos." He didn't elaborate. The police came. They took my statement in the Polaroid. They wouldn't let us see inside. They just put up a lot of tape. Dave and I left. I couldn't sleep. The news the next morning said they'd arrested the man who ran the booth. They found disturbing evidence and were linking him to disappearances across 3 states. They said he'd been using the traveling fair circuit for years. The reporter said the suspect claimed he just liked to remember the happy faces. I thought that was the end of it. A close call, a scary story to tell. A week later, a plain cardboard box was on my front porch. No label. I opened it. Inside was a pair of brand new size 11 giant red clown shoes, my size, and another Polaroid. This one was taken through the window of my living room last night. I was on the couch watching TV. Lisa was reading in her chair. On the border, in the same smudge, it said, "The show always goes on." The police took the box. They increased patrols. They said he was definitely in custody, that it must be a copycat or a sick joke. They're probably right. I tell myself that every day. But last night, I took the trash out late. Across the street, under the broken streetlight, I saw a figure just standing there, not moving. The light from the neighbor's porch caught just a little bit of white on its face and a small, tight, painted smile. I blinked, and it was gone. I haven't told Lisa. I just checked the locks over and over, and I keep the lights on all night.
My name is Chuckles. Not my real name, but it's the only one that matters from 4 to 6 p.m. on weekends. I do kids' birthday parties, balloon animals, simple magic tricks, the birthday song with a kazoo. It's not glamorous, but it pays the bills since the warehouse let me go. I wear the bright suit, the red nose, the big blue wig. You get used to the kids pulling your hair and screaming. You smile until your face hurts. The Henderson party was my last booking that Saturday. Big house in one of those new developments where all the houses look the same. Mrs. Henderson was stressed, the kind of mom who wants a perfect Pinterest party. She met me at the door, her phone in her hand. "You're exactly on time. Good. Everything is in the backyard. Just do your thing, keep them occupied for 2 hours. Cake is at 5:30. The backyard was full of 6-year-olds hyped up on sugar. I launched into my routine. It was going okay. Then I saw him, over by the fence, near the grown-ups' drink table. Another clown. He wasn't hired. I knew all the other performers in town. This guy was different. His suit was old-fashioned, kind of dirty-looking, a faded gray and black, not colorful. His makeup was simple. White face, black tears painted from his eyes, and a wide, down-turned red mouth. He wasn't doing anything. He wasn't trying to make the kids laugh. He was just leaning against the fence, watching me. It threw me off. I messed up a simple balloon poodle. The kids didn't care, but I felt cold. I tried to ignore him and started my magic act with the disappearing silk scarves. I glanced back. He was gone. Mrs. Henderson came up to me during the pizza break. "Your friend is a bit morbid, isn't he?" she said, sounding annoyed. "My friend?" "The other clown. He's inside. I assumed he was with you for the spooky twist or something. He's just standing in the hallway by the bathroom. He's creeping out the other parents." "He's not with me," I said, the grease paint on my face feeling suddenly stiff. She frowned and hurried off. I had to keep going. The cake was coming. I gathered the kids for the final game, a simple ring around the rosy thing. As we all fell down, I saw him again. He was at the sliding glass door, his white hands pressed against the glass, his head tilted. He was watching the children, not like an entertainer, like a collector. That was it. I finished the game and told Mrs. Henderson I needed a glass of water from inside. I had to confront him,
This weirdo was ruining my gig. I walked into the house. The hallway was empty. I checked the bathroom. Empty. I heard a soft sound from the living room, a slow, squeaking sound. I peeked in. He was there, sitting in Mr. Henderson's big leather recliner, rocking back and forth slowly. In his lap was one of the party favor bags, the little plastic totes with the birthday boy's name on them. He had pulled out a small stuffed bear. He was just stroking its head. "Hey," I said, my Chuckles voice gone. "You need to leave. You're not part of this." His head turned. The black tear marks looked wet in the dim room light. He didn't speak. He pointed one long white finger at me, then pointed to the chair opposite him. An invitation. "No, get out or I'm calling the cops." He stood up very slowly. He placed the stuffed bear carefully back into the goodie bag. Then he walked toward me. I held my ground, heart hammering. He stopped inches from me. He smelled like mothballs and old paper. He leaned in close to my ear. His whisper was dry, like leaves skittering on concrete. "You make them laugh. I make them quiet. We are the same." Then he walked past me, down the hall, and out the front door. Just like that. I was shaking. I went back to the party on autopilot. I did the birthday song. I barely remember it. All I could think about was his words.
After I packed up my little car, Mrs. Henderson paid me in cash. "Thanks," she said, distracted. "Oh, did your friend leave? I didn't see him go." "He's not my friend," I said again. "Well, he left a present, I guess, for the birthday boy." She held up a small wrapped box. It was wrapped in newspaper, tied with a single black ribbon. It was on the front step, no card. "Don't open it," I said, maybe too sharply. She gave me a strange look. "It's just a present." I drove home. I couldn't shake it. I took off the makeup, the suit, but I still felt like Chuckles, a scared Chuckles. I turned on the local news at 11 just for noise. The lead story made my blood stop. The Henderson house, police tape, an ambulance. The reporter was speaking fast. "A tragic accident at a child's birthday party earlier this evening. We're told a toy, possibly a party favor, malfunctioned. A small spring-loaded novelty item is believed to have struck the birthday child, 6-year-old Timmy Henderson, in the throat. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Police are investigating the source of the toy." The screen showed a photo of Timmy, grinning with a missing tooth. Then it showed an evidence bag. Inside it was a small metal clown face. Its mouth was a wide open hole where the spring had shot out. The reporter continued. "The child's mother told police a second, uninvited clown was seen at the party. They are asking for the public's help in identifying this individual." My phone rang. It was a number I didn't know. I answered. Nothing at first. Then that dry, leaf-like whisper. "See? Quiet." The call ended. I sat in the dark for a long time. The police came to question me the next day. I told them everything. They think it's a rivalry, a sick prank by a competitor. They took my statement. They won't find him. I know they won't. Because last night, I was putting my gear away in the closet. I saw something on the shelf behind my wig box, a small, neatly wrapped box, newspaper, and a black ribbon. I haven't opened it. I can't. But I know what it means. He showed me. We make them laugh. He makes them quiet. And now he thinks we're partners. The phone just rang again. It's Mrs. Johnson booking a party for her twins next Sunday. I should say no. I should quit. But I need the money. So I'll go. I'll put on the suit and the smile. And the whole time, I'll be looking over my shoulder, waiting for the other clown to show up. The one who brings the quiet. The one who thinks we're the same. My brother Mark always said Route 17 after midnight was the loneliest road in the state. Just 2 lanes of cracked asphalt cutting through endless pine forests, no gas stations for 50 miles, no cell signal. We were driving it because his truck had died at a buddy's hunting cabin, and I was the sucker with a working car who came to get him. It was past 1 a.m. The trees were just a black wall on either side of my headlights. Mark was asleep in the passenger seat, snoring. I was fighting to keep my eyes open, counting mile markers. That's when I saw the wagon. It was an old beat-up station wagon, wood paneling peeling off the sides. It was parked on the narrow gravel shoulder, its hazard lights blinking a dull yellow in the dark. A figure stood next to the driver's door, waving one arm slowly. "Mark," I said, nudging him, "wake up. Guy's broken down." Mark grumbled, blinked awake. He saw the wagon. "Don't stop. Are you crazy? It's the middle of nowhere. He could freeze out here. It's 50 degrees. He'll live. Just keep driving." I was already slowing down. My dad raised us to help. I pulled over about 20 yards ahead of the wagon and put my flashers on. "It's 2 minutes," I told Mark. "Just see if he needs a call or towed." I got out. The night air was cold and smelled of pine and damp dirt. I walked back toward the wagon. The man was still by his door. As I got closer, I saw his clothes, bright colors, striped pants, a baggy jacket, and his face. White makeup, red triangles on his cheeks, a big red smile. A clown, a broke-down clown on Route 17 at 1 in the morning. It was so bizarre it almost made me laugh. He looked about 50, tired. The makeup was sweaty and smudged. "Hey," I called out, "you okay? Need me to call someone?" The clown didn't speak at first. He just looked at me, his painted smile seeming too wide in the dim light. Then he pointed a gloved finger at the front of his wagon. "Overheated," he said. His voice was high and raspy, a classic clown voice. It sounded practiced. "Just need some water. You have any?" "I think I've got a bottle in the car. Hang on." I turned and walked back to my car. Mark had rolled down his window. "Is that a damn clown?" he hissed. "Yeah, his car's overheated. I'm getting him some water." "This is how horror movies start, Mike. Get back in the car." I ignored him, fetched a half-full plastic bottle of water from my back seat. When I turned back, the clown was closer. He'd moved away from his wagon and was now standing in the middle of the road between the 2 cars. He was just standing there, watching me. Something tightened in my stomach. "Here you go," I said, holding the bottle out but not stepping closer. He didn't take it. He tilted his head. "You're a good boy," he said in that raspy voice. "A good boy to stop. Most people don't stop." "Yeah, well, just take the water, man. We got to get going." "It's not the water I need." He took a step toward me. That was enough. I dropped the bottle. It hit the asphalt with a plastic crack. I took a step back toward my car door. Mark was already leaning over, pushing the passenger door open for me. The clown's smile didn't change. He pointed past me at my car. "Who's your friend?" "My brother. We're leaving now. Good luck." I got into the driver's seat and slammed the door. My hands were shaking as I fumbled for the gear shift. "Go, go, go!" Mark barked. I pulled back onto the road, tires spitting gravel. In my rearview mirror, I saw the clown. He wasn't going back to his wagon. He was just standing in the lane watching us drive away, getting smaller and smaller until the dark swallowed him. "Told you," Mark said, lighting a cigarette. "Psycho. Probably escaped from a circus or something."
We drove in tense silence for another 10 minutes. The adrenaline faded, replaced by a creeping embarrassment. Maybe the guy was just a weirdo, a tired performer driving between gigs. Then Mark said, "What's that smell?" I sniffed. It was a sweet, coppery smell, familiar but out of place, like the time I cut my hand fixing a fence. "Is that blood?" I asked. Mark was looking around his feet. "Did you run over something?" I looked in the rearview mirror again. The road behind us was empty. Then I glanced down at the floor behind my seat. There was a duffel bag, a faded blue duffel bag. It wasn't mine. It wasn't Mark's. "What is that?" Mark asked, his voice low. "I don't know." "Pull over." "Are you insane?" "No." "Mike, pull the car over now." The urgency in his voice made me listen. I eased onto the shoulder. The forest was even thicker here, pitch black. Mark grabbed a flashlight from the glove box. He got out, opened the back door, and shone the light on the bag. It was old, stained. The zipper was partly open. Mark used a pin to hook the zipper and pull it all the way. He went very still. Then he staggered back from the car, bent over, and threw up onto the gravel. "Mark, what is it?" He couldn't speak. He just pointed at the bag, his face white. I got out. I took the flashlight from where he'd dropped it and looked inside the duffel bag. I saw colors first, bright, satiny colors, a frilly collar, a striped sleeve, clown clothes, bundled up, and nestled in the middle of the clothes, stained dark red, was a wood-handled hatchet, the kind you'd use to split kindling. And there was something else, wrapped in a polka-dot cloth, a shape. It had hair. I didn't look closer. I dropped the flashlight. I understood. The clown hadn't needed water. He needed to move the bag from his broken-down car to mine. We were his roadside assistants. We were now in possession of it, whatever it was. We didn't touch anything else. We got back in the car. We drove fast until the next 30 miles, until we saw the lights of an all-night truck stop. We parked by the big diesel pumps, under the bright lights. We called the police from the payphone inside. They came. They took our statements. They looked in the bag. Their faces got hard. They asked us the same questions over and over. They didn't believe we didn't know, not at first. But our stories matched, and we had nothing on us. They let us go at dawn. They kept my car for evidence. The statey drove us home. The investigation is ongoing. They found the wagon, abandoned, no clown. They won't tell us what was in the bag exactly. But one detective, a tired-looking woman, said to me, "You're lucky you stopped when you did. If you'd driven all the way home with that in your trunk, well, let's just say it wouldn't have looked like a prank." I know what she meant. They would have thought it was ours. Mark doesn't talk about it anymore. I can't sleep. I keep thinking about that clown standing by his wagon on the lonely road. He wasn't stranded. He was waiting for a good Samaritan, a good boy to stop. He needed a new car for his luggage, and we gave him one. The police say they'll find him. I'm not so sure. I think he's still out there on Route 17, his hazards blinking in the dark, waiting with his painted smile for the next person kind enough to stop. And the worst part, sometimes, at night, I think I hear that high, raspy voice, just a whisper in my head. "You're a good boy."
If you liked the story, subscribe and like it, and also write a comment about what topic you would like to hear about.